Hey guys, Luton here, back with some more Total War Attila. I've been really getting into Total War at the moment. I'm enjoying it a lot, mainly because it provides something that's quite different than anything else. It's got that real kind of top-down tactical view, but of course you can always zoom straight in, really get into the action, and it just provides like this kind of mental playoff of strategy, which you don't really get anywhere else, and that for me anyway is really, really enjoyable. I love it, especially when you're playing off against somewhat really challenging opponents, and today I'm facing off against Flamefang. He's in my squad, as you know, but he's also an expert at Total War. He's been playing it for 10 years and knows it pretty much inside out, which is always an insane challenge for me to try and beat him. So we're checking out the Empires of Sand DLC, which has just been released. It gives you 3 new culture factions, as well as a lot of benefits with your campaign aspects in terms of religion and other things along those lines. They also released alongside that a free faction. So the factions you've got are the Lakhmids, the Himyar, the Aksum and the Tanakids. I should also point out this time that Creative Assembly did provide the DLC for us so that we could review and test it out. But I would also say that if you go to the Steam page for the DLC, which I've linked below, you can see that actually the community reaction to this DLC has been incredibly positive. So many people are commenting on Steam and just saying this is an excellent DLC. It gives so many unique creative units, and the real focus around the units that me and Flame found is that it's got the real sort of horde tactics of the Hun. So that's kind of your skirmishing cavalry riding units, where there's a lot of mounted units, whether they're on the camels or whether they're standard cavalry. But it's been very interesting. So in this gameplay today, guys, what we've got is, first up we'll have a battle between me using the Lakhmids, that's the free faction, and Flames taking the Himyar. And then we have a section where we look at some of the units, we go through, we talk a little bit about the DLC, we discuss those units. I've broken it down into 3 sections so you can skip to whichever section you want to watch. And then finally we face off with another battle, a different style of battle as well, where I take on the Aksum and Flame takes on the Tanakids. So it's a good kind of range. We played a lot of different combat, but I think there's some more to be done with testing out the factions for this DLC. But one thing that we did decide on and did agree on is that these cultures with this DLC pack are very different than others, and that's a good thing, because that's also something that a lot of the community were commenting on the Steam page, saying that, you know, these culture packs, they really feel like they have a strong, unique feel to them. It doesn't feel like they've just been copied and pasted, and so it really feels like they've gone in and created something new for you to play. And you really have to get in there. There's some unique units that you have to try and sort of figure out what is going on with them. So yeah, it's been a really interesting one to play so far, and I look forward to playing some more of it. So check out the gameplay here, guys. You can enjoy watching me kind of fail, and yeah, there'll be a lot more stuff coming up very soon with Total War, because as I say, I'm enjoying it a lot, and I want to continue to post it up there. I think it's nice to have something a bit different that's not just FPS, but still maintains that kind of tactical overview, and some of the battles can be pretty brutal as well. So a lot more for me to come on these aspects, and of course the Warhammer stuff coming up as well. Thanks for watching, guys. Please drop your thoughts below and rate the video if you enjoy it. Thanks so much. I'll see you next time. The Battle of Raqqa. Right, so we seem to have some little trees and what maybe is a little ridge here, I'm not sure. Looks like maybe that middle ground is a slight ridge. That's the only other thing as well. Whenever we have a... Remember we did that one where it's like all flat but like this tiny little hill, and it's just like, get the hill! It's just like literally king of the hill. Okay, this is curious. Oh god, I hate one of us isn't right on top of this like death hill, otherwise it's going to be kind of really nasty. You know, Battlefield players would in a way hate this game. You know, it's like, you know how freaked out people get about like one map having a slight bias? Oh god. Oh yeah. Okay, I take it all back, I'm actually really happy.
What, because you've got that like ramp there?
Yes. Got my death ramp that you have to
walk up the ramp to get to you.
Yes. It's like almost like classic medieval defense, you know, just like create this horrible death hill that they have to slowly climb whilst being slaughtered on the way up. It's just like, okay, well, we'll see how this goes. It could go badly, you don't know. Right, let's set it all up. The tricky thing, I don't want to, obviously, it's hard because I don't want to leave anywhere open, but at the same time, I can't sort of create like an exact sort of shell, you know? I need to sort of, because you've got all your horses up here.
Ready. Kurdish archers! At speed! Melee infantry! Advance at speed!
It's feeling pretty solid.
Elite Nubian
Well,
archers!
one hint that I'll give you is that usually, not always, but usually, regular archers have a range advantage over cavalry archers.
Yeah.
Move out!
At least so I seem to have found in the past.
Yeah, probably, but the last thing that I want to do right now is break my defense.
Oh yeah, but you can always move the fence forward too.
Yeah, but I'm so worried about having my units fragment, which seems to happen to me every single time. And also I do have more archers than you, so...
I mean, there is one sort of large advantage you have right now, in that although I've managed to mostly negate the hill advantage,
Yep.
I am actually in a corner.
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
So it's difficult for me to flank you on the right side.
Yeah,
And it's also difficult for me to flank you on the left because of the hill.
yeah, exactly.
Elite Nubian archers! Set them alight! Missiles! At the double!
So Flame is bringing... Oh look, we've got these, here's the camels coming through. They make cool sounds. Look at them waving those little sticks around there. Right.
Come on, Lancers! Quickly now!
So Flame, as you can see, has been repositioning his guys.
Advance at speed! At the double!
Which is probably going to be similarly necessary for me.
Kurdish archers! Quick march! Double time! Men of the sand! Advance at speed! At speed! Missiles at your command! Follow me! Elite Nubian archers! Riders, move out!
And those
Ready!
skirmishing cavalry are so irritating.
Ready to march!
What they're meant to be.
Yeah, I know.
At speed! Advance at speed! Double time! Camel lancers! At the ready! Push and mount and shoot alive! Follow me! Right out! We await your orders! Riders at the double! Forward! Quickly now! Elite Nubian archers!
Right, this is going to be a full-on one now.
Infantry ready! Kurdish archers! Burn them! Give them fire!
Oh, it's on.
Elite Nubian archers! At the double!
This is an unusual battle for us, right?
Fairly, yeah.
Because it's not often we have these full-on things. It's going to be a real interesting one now to see just out of these two new armies, which one has got the advantage.
Come on, Lancers! For glory!
Go on, get in the frickin' mix.
And you're ready! And you wish
Camel death! Ah! Oh man, they're getting fucked up though.
push out mountains to the line! Engage!
Flame, it's just like, this is like all out Braveheart now, right? This is what we're doing.
Men of the sand! Ready to
I mean, it'll just be curious as well to sort of see who maybe breaks first out of this one, you know? See who is actually more powerful.
Melee cavalry ready! Forward! Victory now! For honor! Our men flee the field of battle!
Those lancers definitely lost because of that bloody spear group.
Infantry at the ready! We fight or we die! Camel lancers! Riders at the double!
Oh shit, man.
As you say, we understand!
Hey, look at them pushing through here.
We need to be an archer!
I'm kind of surprised they pushed through so much. Wow, what the flippin' hell happened here?
Men are broken and are fleeing!
Well, things are not going well.
The men's resolve is failing! Go back with back! For honor!
Yet again, it's been a horrible failure.
As you say!
Well, those axes really screwed over my spear guys, didn't they?
Yeah. Surprisingly strong.
That was the thing that kind of really ripped through. And also, I really missed what happened with the front line here. I just seem to have lost one whole of my my spear units that were on the defensive line there at the front. They just got absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, I mean, I was shocked by that too.
Like, I looked away for like half a second, and I came back and they're just gone. It's like, what the Christ? Because normally those guys, the spears, they hold on for like a really long time.
Yeah, it was this one unit, Athar's Chosen, they just, like, obliterated your front line. Admittedly, there's not many of them left anymore. There's only
Which one
8
is it?
left.
Yeah, Athar's Chosen. This is your very light melee infantry. But they've got
Frenzy Charge and Frenzy, so they're like berserkers,
Yeah.
and they just went in there and...
they've got armor-piercing damage and an excellent charge bonus. So seemingly that was just like nothing against my spear guys. But I say, I'm really surprised by that. I mean, in the formation that I'm not really bothering to reform right now because this is essentially just a complete failure.
Running, cowards!
But most spear units will stand up against standard melee, right? Most of the time.
Usually, yeah, they
Yeah.
can hold them.
Usually hold them, yeah. Which is the whole plan, you know, the idea is to hold that line and have the archers fire across. But they seem to get, like, absolutely wiped out by those guys. Is there any other units you've noticed did particularly well? None of my units seem to do particularly well, but that's perhaps me more than the actual units, I'm thinking. The camels seem to have quite good penetration through the... that was the only thing I noticed,
Yeah.
that was the camels seem to have slightly better penetration through than maybe just your standard horses.
That might be true, yeah. Were many of your cavalry camels or horses?
Unit is running
Actually,
from the
mainly
enemy.
horses. There was some camels, but not overall, really.
Because I don't know how true this is, but historically it was believed that camels frightened horses. So I know that in some of the previous games, camels had a bonus against horses.
Yeah, this is true. But I mean, one thing that really screwed me was because I was trying to hold this defence, and you brought your infantry, you brought your cavalry over, tried to interfere there, and breaking off one of your medium spear into my cavalry really screwed those over.
Right, my plan was to basically tie up your cavalry with my lancers. I knew they couldn't beat them one-on-one, but if I added the spearmen in the mix, it might be enough to turn it around.
Yeah, exactly. And well, you see, here's the thing: was that I was hoping that with my formation, usually when you do have like a spear formation like that, it's pretty hard to break. And I was hoping that I could just hold that. But seemingly on my left flank and also on the front line got ruined by those berserker guys, and the left flank got kind of penetrated pretty hard. I was actually surprised as well, because spear against sort of cavalry generally hold quite well. But you did. I mean, I had a melee group and a spear group on that left side, but the cavalry did kind of penetrate through that pretty well.
Well, those spearmen notably are, I think, the lowest quality. Yeah,
they were the I had the main guys on the front line, so the left-hand side was the weaker guys. But even so, against cavalry, and when they're standing like that, they should sort of hold. So I was quite surprised. Right, but let's concede.
It does seem to me that these factions are a little bit. I think they're a little bit worse at holding lines, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, and this is the thing. It might be to do with their sort of battle style, that they're not really like heavy defensive like that. So trying to play this way, and this is the whole point of trying to like play with these and figure it out. I'm thinking playing this way with these guys is maybe not really their forte. And also, that actually makes sense when you think about it. Think about the way in which these things would play out. Fighting in a desert, you know, standing there just waiting for them to come to you is, and like, I mean, there's a very real issue when you actually think about that, which is that it's pretty difficult to do that because you don't have any sort of natural geographic advantage to help you, do you? You know? It's like one of my issues in the games that I played with you so far already is when you're trying to set up a defensive position. I mean, actually, with the first game we played, you up on that hillside, you actually did have a little advantage there. That's the only thing, is if you have like a hill advantage, you don't really have to worry about them flanking you, because you know it's going to take them sort of too long to do that. So that's not really such a problem. But when you're sort of standing to fight, right, it's like, you know, you obviously want to try and create a tight sort of defensive formation, but the likelihood of, you know, being flanked by maybe horses particularly is quite high. Obviously, like a melee unit's not going to get around you, right? But you know, multiple sort of cavalry units may, and you just need to sort of worry about that. So whereas if you're fighting in a forest or like a valley or something like this, you usually have some natural geography, which is going to mean like, okay, I don't need to worry too much about my left side or the back or whatever, which you know, leads itself more to those kind of defensive formations. So I don't know. Maybe we should try like a more kind of skirmish style. Maybe that will suit these things a bit better.
Yeah, could be. I'm actually looking through the different unit sets. I am noticing that their spear infantry is pretty lackluster.
Yeah,
like it's one or two units.
Yes.
None of which is particularly
I only
good.
saw one which had pike, I think.
Yeah, the Tanu kids, I think, are the ones with that.
Let's see, yeah, they've got, and even those guys look pretty soft, you know. Like they've got like, what is it? I mean, the hardest one there, the Tanakid pikes. They've got excellent armor. It says they're the only one. They got like chainmail there. It looks like.
Yeah. Even if they are very strong, they're definitely the exception to the rule.
Yes. Yeah, he's got a very large shield as well. You know, I mean, well, they all do, but I mean, the shield combined with that chainmail is going to make them pretty solid as a pike unit. But yeah, as you go through them, they're not really the kind of army that's designed. I mean, they're more Hun-like, I suppose, aren't they? Really, you know, they've got that whole sort of like lightweight skirmishing, running around sort of thing going on, which again makes sense if they're going to be a desert army. So again, maybe we should play with that sort of thing a little.
It looks like Aksum actually has a lot of spearmen. They have some actually very interesting units.
Yeah.
Like one that looks like it's got... I don't even know what that weapon is. It looks almost like a spear axe or something.
Yeah, this one. Let's see what it says about these guys. Elite Tor warriors. Cavalry counter tactics. Spear wall, expert charge defense. It's interesting. Disciplined. And they can hide in forest. These guys sound pretty hardcore. Armed with spears, they are the elite among tribal forces. The spirit's been around as long as people have hunting, blah, blah, blah. Well, it seems... do you know what? Just the kind... I mean, I might be wrong, but if they have cavalry counter tactics, it just seems like a logical thing when you look at that sort of T-shaped thing. If it's like a kind of spear, but maybe it's for pulling people off horses. Because that's what I would immediately think of with that. If you have like a spear guy and he's got that, if he's a cavalry counter, you're going to reach up, grab that guy, and pull him off the horse. So maybe that's the whole point. Sons of the Invincible Marem. Light spear infantry, excellent against cavalry. These guys also look pretty full on. They have like kind of what looks like a, what do you call it? When it's for lifting hay. What is it called? You know this thing? What's it? I can't remember what it's called. And then their best unit are the Masquera Spearmen. I don't know what it is. Excellent morale. Those guys look pretty hardcore. Shield Screen Frenzy. Resistance to fatigue.
Notably, though, this faction has almost no shock cavalry.
Yeah.
Which is a big contrast
again,
to
well,
some of
this
the
is the
others.
point as well. Is well, they've got one shock unit only. They've got the Warhounds as well. Fan favourite of mine. Big old. Don't laugh. They're really good. Just because Flame last time we played absolutely, literally slaughtered my hands. It was really harsh, to be honest. I was very upset, to be honest. The Axum seem like the more defensive out of the new factions for sure.
Definitely.
The Himyar, which Flame is playing as, they seem to have like more. They've seemed very melee based. They've got strong amount of melee units and both for cavalry and I mean look how many cavalry melee the Himyar have got. They've got loads.
Yeah.
And also look at their skirmishers. They look pretty solidly armoured for skirmishers, don't they? So
Yeah.
I think the Himyar seem very kind of like on the ground march forward and just get in the mix there. Don't have very strong spear though, so they seem very kind of maybe aggressive on the ground rather than, you know, because their spears, they've got like the desert spear, which is like a very kind of, it seems like a very middleweight unit from comparing to the other stuff.
I think they rely on their cavalry to tie up the enemy cavalry instead of trying to fight the cavalry with their own spears and things.
Yes, yes. Yeah, because they've got so much melee cavalry.
Yeah.
And then we've got also the Lackmids, which we were doing. Lackmids seem kind of middle ground. They've got like a bit of everything, but not too. Well, they've still got not very much spears. They're very much kind of similar actually. The Lackmids and the Himyar seem quite comparable in their setup. Kind of both got quite a amount of melee stuff. And then we come to also the Tanakids. Was it 4? Is it just 4? Isn't it?
4, yeah.
The Tanakids, again, pretty light on it. It's only one of the factions seems very defensive. The rest seem to really rely on this. The only difference with the Tanakids is they've got a much more significant amount of shock cavalry. So maybe, again, tactic with the Tanakids is going to be sort of use that shock cavalry to punch in and then just send the rest in. I think what will be curious as well, we're trying versus one another right now. It would be interesting as well to do one match where we play, you know, a Western faction versus these guys, because that's going to be definitely
more than happy.
Yeah.
To play the Eastern Romans.
Oh, for crying out loud! Do you know, I was thinking that, but it's way too ridiculous. Like, you just absolutely destroy me. Do you know what I like the look of with the Tanakids? Those Sandstorm Lancers look pretty awesome. Looks quite nice. Best unit on they've got. Right, so Flame's going to take the Tanakids. I'm going to take the. Well, let's actually try the defense. I'm going to stick with my defensive plans. Let's try the Axum, because the Tanakids seem like a punchy unit. You know, sort of punching in. The Axum seem like a defensive set. So let's actually see what they can do. And you know what, Flame? If I'm going to go, if you're going to play a punchy attack unit. If that's, are you going to play it like that?
More or less, yeah.
So, my first roll has actually given me an Onager. Do you want me to remove that? Or if I'm playing like a defensive set, do you want to see how that plays with it? Because we
it's entirely up to you. I don't mind. I'll try to adapt to whatever you do.
Yeah, you probably destroy me nonetheless. I'm also thinking if I'm going to play strong defense, I might not have any cavalry at all. I might try that setup. Do you think that's a wise choice?
Oh,
do you think it's
the enemy? You gotta remember.
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's such a good question. Do you think it's always a good idea to have cavalry in some respect, in some element? Or would it be better to just literally... Because, I mean, cavalry coming up against, you know, maybe 2 lines of spears. You could have 2 lines of spears and just really sit there, you know, really push that defensive stuff. However, what we were saying before about the, you know, the desert maps and stuff, how they're not really adaptable to that kind of style. I'm going to have some lightweight cavalry, but nothing too insane.
That's good. That's a good question you bring up, though.
What's
It's
that?
one that I often sort of encounter in some way. Just whether to bring cavalry, essentially. Like, is it really valuable to have cavalry with you versus, say, more heavy spearmen or more heavy infantry or anything like that? Because at the end of the day, they tend to be pretty expensive.
They're expensive
don't
and
get that
also
many.
seem to be relatively expendable. They seem to have, like, cavalry seem to have, in my general experience so far, two main uses. One is fighting other cavalry, and the other is they are strong against ground, the melee guys on the ground, but only when they have an opportunity to exploit, like a line or something. So obviously, just charging against spears, unless maybe they are like a very good shock cavalry unit, aren't going to maybe do that much. But like I say, I'm thinking, hey, just do away with your cavalry and have 2 lines of spears. Then that way, even if they sort of penetrate through that first line, they're going to get caught up in the second, and then whatever you've got behind is safe. But that's only if you can afford to spend the extra money on that. So
They do at the same time make you significantly more flexible.
exactly.
Like, if you're really in a position to just sit there with all the spears, then that's fine. But say on the campaign map and things like that, you don't know what you're going to face.
No.
You don't know what kind of situation you're going to be in. So for that purpose, cavalry can be very valuable, especially if you need to flank or you need to really exploit the enemy's position. in
Yeah,
some way.
exactly. As well, so far I've not there are some bows obviously with these units, but again they don't seem to have quality archers in this, compared to some of the other factions and stuff. There seems to be less options there as well.
I mean, the elite Nubian archers, I think, are actually a fairly high quality bow unit.
Yeah.
But as you're saying, it's just there's only 2.
Yeah.
At least for most of the factions I've seen, it's them or it's the cheap, desert bowmen,
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
are terrible.
Yeah, they're just very dispensable. Wow, okay. Desert attack. It was me thinking this one looked a little more sort of grassland-esque, but no. Interesting to see where we actually fight across on this one, though. I think I can kind of see what I want to do. I mean, the thing is I am obviously going to play much more defensive, so I'm going to choose the terrain which suits that. But last time I played defensive, it all went horribly, horribly wrong. As does most of the time when I play, so we'll see. I think I do have an idea about what I want to do, though.
We understand.
Right. Try and formulate my plan here.
Ready.
What are you thinking? Are you going to have you got a reasonable plan here from looking at the terrain? You probably know already what I'm going to do, I think.
Well,
It's going to be interesting to
what
see how that
you-
breaks.
ought to do,
You
perhaps.
wish.
Yeah.
Feel free to throw it out there, but no, you'll see soon enough anyway. But I mean, the thing is your guys will be able to adapt anyway. My guys have almost got to put them in situ to start with.
Well, my guys might be less adaptable than you think. I mean, what I'm using right now is something I've never tried before,
Yeah.
so we'll see how it
Await
goes.
your orders. What are your orders? Into formation.
Right, let's start.
At the ready. Formation. Move. If we belong and bloody. If we hold to our purpose, if we yield no ground to them.
Now here's an interesting one in that this is the first time where we've not really seen each other.
Cut them down and chase any that flee.
I can actually see something of yours, but only 2 units.
We are at your command.
You aren't where I was expecting you to be, though, which
Really?
is
In a good way or a bad way?
In a good way for you, I think.
We shall see.
We await your orders.
Organize yourselves!
Yeah, their little, my guys with their weird little spear thing are very curious indeed.
Ready.
I mean, this sort of thing we thought was for pulling people off of horses?
Yeah,
Have to see it in action.
yeah.
As you wish. We have sighted the enemy.
Oh. So we have... Yeah. Still haven't seen the... Oh, hello. Here's going to be the question.
At the ready. Advance at need.
It looks like you're coming in pretty hard towards me here.
Well, I am essentially doing the opposite of you. I'm trying to,
Yeah.
you know, attack as hard as I can.
Elite Nubian archers.
Doesn't necessarily mean charging in recklessly, but
No, no.
it does involve charging.
We await your orders.
The thing that I'm always concerned about is you see the very obvious units, but then where's the rest?
At speed. Push out Attila. As you command.
At the ready!
Elite Nubian archers. We will darken the skies. Quick march! Give them fire! Burn them!
Right, so this is the first time I've actually seen Flame's main units. And these guys here with the naked chests and shields look pretty brazen, dude. They're just like, yep, armour, what the fuck? What's that? Dude, have you got zebras in your horses? Oh no, they've just got lots of leather stuff around their neck. I was like, they look like zebras.
That'd be awesome. I wish I had zebras in my army.
And you've got these sickle guys as well. I think the sickle sword, it was kind of like, wasn't it to do with the way they fight with the shield?
Yeah,
So-
something like that.
So they can kind of get around and slice and I think also it was so that they could actually get maybe get around enemy shields. So instead of having like a straight strike, you could kind of bend it around and like stab them in the stomach, which is lovely, obviously. As is all medieval warfare. It's like, oh, that's nice. It's always like this super horrific stuff.
What are your orders?
What are your orders, indeed?
Fire!
Come on, guys, what are you doing? What the hell are you playing at? And love that action. Oh my god, that was devastating. Did you you see that?
Yeah. Not happy about it.
No, that was pretty hardcore. There's a lot of burning horses. It's a lot of Tesco's finest. See, this is, as we were discussing earlier, the issue with having artillery on these kind of battles. Dude, I like how your horses are just walking through the fire of the dead, like, don't give a shit. They're just like, they don't give a shit. Damn, that's some harsh morale right there. Oh shit, here we go. Wow, look at this. This was the real. See what's up with this.
We're being ambushed.
Ooh.
Spears ready.
Hold on, hold the line, hold the line.
Await your orders.
And what the frickin' hell are they doing right here? Why have they just completely abandoned their formations?
Ready for order.
And why can't I spread them out along the line anymore?
Concealed men.
For some reason, I can't, I couldn't create a new formation with them. That wasn't good at all.
Did you remove the original
No,
formation?
I know what it is. Oh, bollocks. So because they were in a shield screen, I couldn't reform them. That's a massive error on my part.
Our general is under attack. Ready. Beware, our hidden units have been revealed. Elite Nubian archers, as you wish. We await your orders. Forever loyal. Quick march! Our aim is true. Fill the skies. At the ready. The enemy refuses to admit defeat. Their unit has rallied. We will darken the skies. Fire on the enemy. Orders, my lord. We understand. Advance at speed. Spears.
Well, so far my guys seem to be doing pretty much what they said on the tin. So that kind of shock attack with the cavalry did not seem to have it, did it?
No.
Elite Nubian archers. Spears. All honor. We are at your command. Forever loyal. We await your orders. Forward, you dogs! For glory! My lord! Fill the skies! Fill the skies! The enemy are losing their advantage! Elite Nubian archers! Orders, my lord! Double time! What are your orders? Double time! Not a double!
Well, it's been going okay. It was one of the rare times that I managed to win. What did you think of my sort of formation that I put together initially?
It was well done, yeah, and you picked a good portion of the map to do it in as well.
Yeah.
I was thinking that you might do it in sort of the open area, sort of more to the center.
Don't patronise me. Oh, we've had a little freeze right here. A little freeze. There we go, it's fine. A little bit of latency. Moon Flame, it's because we're playing in Flames in the US, we get a little bit of latency sometimes. Just coming in right here.
Oh, what else?
Oh, right at the end as well. Hold on a sec. Ah, dude. Getting some connection issues here, just at the end.
I can still hear you.
Ah, there we are. No, it's fine, we just had like a bit of a latency thing like that. Anyway, let's just carry on.
Yeah, I don't think there's much I can do at this point, because most of my cavalry broke.
No, exactly. Oh, Jesus, there we go.
What I was sort of hoping to be able to do was just overwhelm you through enough shot cavalry and try and get around behind you, but you picked a really good spot on the map where I just couldn't, essentially. Yeah,
I mean, obviously, we both kind of knew how we wanted to play this one, and we were in a way we were just kind of like testing maybe how it worked. Also, I've still got like a whole melee unit back at the back here that I was just saving on the off chance I needed to bring those in. Didn't need to do that. But the other thing was, do you know what was interesting about this one? It was very similar to that time we played the other day, where I was on almost that exact same position. And remember, obviously, what happened there was previously when we did a very similar mission to this one, guys. What happened was Flame came down this sort of side here and through the tree line and then attacked me from the side, and then the cavalry kind of harassed me on the outside. I kind of felt like that was maybe what you were going to do that time, you know, but you went for a much more kind of all-out assault rather than trying to come around. But that's why on my left flank I doubled up my spears, so I had like the best spears coupled with the front line were like the fodder basically. So I put in front a group of light spearmen, and then behind that I put the general, who's like the Razguard, that's like the more hardcore spear guys. And my plan there was that if you came around from that side with the main sort of melee force, because you know, I did think you were going to take like a sort of melee group and play it like that. But yeah, the interesting thing there for me was that we were looking before at the Tanner kids. And like we were saying, look, they've got a lot of melee, and they've got a lot of shock cavalry. So yeah, I mean, you're thinking that maybe their shock cavalry were going to be very good and be able to punch a hole in. I mean, I only had like there was only 3 men deep on that right hand side when they crashed in there, and they really crashed in, didn't they? That was like full speed. I did have them obviously in defensive stance, but I was pretty surprised that they held that, because they didn't even, the shock guys, there was only one point actually where it did break in that sort of middle section. In fact, actually I thought that was going to be my my little failing right there, because I screwed up. If you are playing the game, guys, and you're sort of newish as well, something that I forgot to do right there, basically what happened, Flame, was that I obviously had some of my guys who were in like shield stance, and when you broke that line apart, I wanted to obviously reform my line, and I was like, I can't reform it, it was because they're still in shield stance, so they got shattered apart by your cavalry, and then they just reformed into shield. But then obviously I can't stretch that out, so I was just stuck. That's why they stayed in those little squares, which obviously kind of held my line open there. I was surprised you didn't exploit that. Maybe you were just being kind to me, I don't know.
I mean, it wasn't entirely intentional. My main issue was that I was hoping that I could get enough relatively cheap shock cavalry to be able to get some around behind you. But as it happened, the way I allotted my units to each side of your formation, I just didn't have enough to actually get around. It's like it was very difficult for me to actually exploit anything.
Yeah. So that was the Empires of Sand DLC, and the factions we had a really good time playing with. It was good to see some real differentiation between the factions and their units and how they played out. It actually took us quite a few games to sort of get the metal of what it was they're about. You got the Axum there, which seemed more defensive. The Tanner kids and the Himyar seem more offensive, and they've got that kind of plains-style fighting going on with the more, you know, focus on cavalry and all these kind of things. So yeah, they were very interesting to play with, and it was definitely a worthwhile you know, culture pack, in my opinion anyway. Most people seem to agree. If you go and look at Steam, the people have actually purchased and, you know, got some gameplay there. This was another round we played, trying out the Tanakids versus the Saxons, but this is one for another day, guys. Video already running at 45 minutes. Tell me your thoughts about the DLC below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time for some more Total War Attila.